Hello and welcome back. Guys, we have caught a ton of crappie with my crappie killer rig without putting 37 spider rig rods off the front of your boat and putzing around the lake all day. This rig really catches a ton of crappie. We've improved it a little bit. I'm going to show you how we tie up the new rig and what knot we use. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. Check this out. All right, what you need to tie this rig is some 10-pound test. That's what I use. You could use fluorocarbon if you want. I'm just using basic strand, nothing fancy. This is some extra line that I had. Some marabou jigs, they seem to work the best. And some #2 Aberdeen red hooks. That's all you need to tie the rig up. I'm going to use this little bit of paracord here to show you the loop knot we use. And of course, I need these days. This loop knot is the key to this whole rig. There's one at the top and the bottom. What you're going to do is thread your line through the eye of the jig and double it up, and then just basically and simply make a half hitch. Your jig's going to be in here and you're going to pass through that loop that you've made twice, jig and all the way through. So the jig's going to be hanging from this loop, and when you cinch this knot down and clip off your tag end, that is going to be a very strong knot that's not going to slip. And it'll be great for catching those crappie and allow that jig to move freely at the end of the loop. We'll tie another one at the other end for the swivel and a polymer knot in between for the Aberdeen. And I'll show you how we do that. We'll go ahead and pull off, I don't know, about 30 inches or so of our line. Again, I use just regular old 10-pound test. Crappies aren't really all that smart. So a little bit of line there. Get us one of these nice marabou jigs. You can use your favorite jigs. I like to use the marabou jigs, and I'll have links to this in the description down below. Get us out a jig. All right, hopefully this will show up well. We're going to go through the eye of the jig. There we go. And double plenty of line up. Just like that. Now we've got that loop. I'm going to make a loop with the jig and pass through this twice. Once. Twice. Now, when you pull this up, keep your knot down kind of close to the jig. So it makes a nice little loop. And pull him tight. Flip that tag end, and now you have a very nice loop knot there. And you see how the jig hangs naturally, and it can move much more freely on that loop than if you just tied a knot solid. So the jig gets that much more action. Now we got to tie on our Aberdeen part way up. All right, to tie on the Aberdeen hook, 10-pound test is hard to get a double line through this teeny tiny little eye. So I found it best if you just stick your eye, hook up, stick it up through the eye, back down through the eye so you get your double line for your polymer knot. Run that on down to where you want it. I like to have it about 8 inches or so above the jig. Double line, simply tie a polymer knot around, through, and then run your hook through that loop. Moisten and pull that down. There we go. So that's about 8 to 10 inches above your jig. And the hook is sticking up. What we're going to do is hang a minnow on this hook. And when the minnow wiggles, guess what happens at the bottom? The jig will bounce. And now we just tie a simple loop knot just like we did with the jig at the other end to attach it to our line. Double line, go around and through twice. And cinch that down. So that gives you something to attach your swivel to. Trim that tag end off too. And you have just tied up the new and improved Crappie Killer rig, and you will catch just as many fish on this jig as you do on the minnow. and you have 2 chances to catch a fish with this rig instead of just 1. Here's a good way, once you have them ready, to store them. Take a swim noodle, put that top loop on there, and wind this whole rig up on this noodle. Take that sharp hook, stick it in the foam, wind that jig around, stick that in the foam. And guess what? You got a crappie rig that's not going to be tangled, ready to go. It doesn't get any better than that for having your rigs pre-tied and ready on the boat, so you're spending time fishing and not tying up rigs. One more thing before you start busting my chops. We're in Virginia. We say crappie here. I know some of the rest of the southern states say crappie. There's no O in it, so in Virginia, it's crappie. Double line, loop, through there, twice, tight, hold it down low, the bottom, pull some through, stick it back in there. Get your loop, hook hangs in the middle, make like a half hitch. This first loop goes through the loop you just created. Pull that down, and your hook passes through here, that first loop. Pull everything down tight. Go around it twice with the loop. Same as you did on the bottom, but without the jig in it. Snug that one up. And wind him up on your swim noodle. Ouch. The hooks are sharp. No kidding, right? Okay. There you go. No tangle. Ready to fish. So that's the improved crappie killer rig. Guys, you need to give that a try. That's a whole lot easier than having 20 lines strode out off the bow of your boat running around the lake looking for fish. We usually just run 2 poles, catch all the crappie we can handle. Tie up a bunch of these rigs ahead of time, put them on a swim noodle, so you'll be able to fish instead of rigging. Check out some of the crappie fishing videos while you're here. We'll have some new ones this spring. Hit that subscribe button down in the corner over there, and we'll see you next time. There's no O in it.